You can be absolutely brilliant and still be completely invisible. Let's talk about that and why that happens. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 41 books and counting. Just had the 41st book happen this weekend. Excited about that. But more than that is the incredible privilege I've had to work with over 5,000 authors, helping them everywhere in the process of writing, publishing, marketing their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. It's been such a privilege to work with doctors, lawyers, nurses. It's cool. I even actually got to work with a person who was a multi-billionaire. Um, but I mean, in addition to that, it's just as much fun working with the brand new startup companies, stay-at-home moms, people who you haven't heard of, at least not yet, um, and helping them be able to be the person that they're meant to be in this world. It's so amazing when somebody just simply shows up as themselves and does the thing in this world that only they can do. You see, you can be brilliant. You can be tremendously, absolutely, overwhelmingly, incredibly impactful and effective in what you do. And you can, along with that, be totally and completely invisible to the worldwide. You know, it's interesting because I've worked with some people who, for in certain groups that they're in, they're household names. They're known. I remember the day, and this was a lot of years ago now, but I remember the day that I realized that on the radio show I was interviewing people who had literally been on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Back when Oprah had her daily show. And I realized that I had uploaded to the point where I was interviewing the same guests that had been on the Oprah Show, really powerfully popular people. And yet, the thing that went beyond that was when I began to realize that as well known as people like Lisa Nichols or Matthew Knowles, were to me, Ken Cragen, I think of him, Dr. Noah St. John, who you've probably seen on the show a couple of times. I knew totally who they were. And some of them are, like you said, people that have been on the Oprah Show. I've had a couple of my authors be on Good Morning America, The Today Show, TBN, things like that. And hey, Jay and Zen, glad to have you here with us. But it was also then the next step of realizing that outside of the bubble where I knew where they were completely unknown. You can say names like Tony Robbins, Dean Gracioso, Les Brown, just three names that pop into my head that are, I would say, widely known. And yet, simultaneously with that, you can have people that tell you, I don't know who Tony is. I've never heard of Dean Gracioso. I don't know a Les Brown. And that's just as the same. I mean, I think of an amazing coach that I've worked with and have known since literally I was a teenager, John Maxwell. KP, glad to have you here with us. And yes, I would love to have you subscribe. Absolutely. Anybody that's watching, please do like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. The name of the people, though they may seem very commonplace to me, they may seem like everybody knows who they are. That's true in the pond that I'm in. But when you move over to somebody else, or to another country or to other places, crazy, thanks so much. I appreciate the like. Those names become people who they don't know. I did a book with a gentleman. I'm trying to think what Stuart, I want to say his last name is Ross. I'd have to go back and look. It was a lot of years ago. I was told by some people that are friends of mine in England that he is in England, the, essentially their equivalent of Tony Robbins and is more widely known than, and I've had a lot of opportunity to work with people like that. Like I said, as well as people who, you've you wouldn't know their names. They're up and comers. They're people who serve a very, specific type of community. Dr. Alley, Dr. Alicia Griffith, who I referred to earlier, that's been literally on Good Morning America and the Today Show, and she's an absolute expert at autism, having not only been an audiologist for 20 years, more than that now, but also having a child that has autism. She's a real expert in it. And yet, probably more of you listening have never heard of Dr. Alicia Griffith than you have of him, of her. We did a book with Dr. Dreyon Birch, who's been on multiple different television shows, including The Doctors and things like that. Even won a landmark litigation, trial where he was sued by Dr. Dre, Beats by Dr. Dre, for using the name Dr. Dre. Now, Dr. Dreyon Birch spells it D-R-A-I. Dr. Dre spells it D-R-E, for those of you who maybe don't know either of them. And Dr. D-R-E, Dr. Dre, the rapper, lost the case because the judge said, first of all, it's a different spelling. We can't just preclude people from using, things like that. And second of all, there's no trademark infringement or any of those kind of things here. Like when you start talking about trademarks, have you ever seen the money bag? Like maybe you even used that icon in social media, just the money bag. That's actually trademarked by Gene Simmons, from Kiss. There's a lot of those kind of things out there that are actually registered trademarks that we use on a fairly regular basis, especially when you start talking about emojis and things like that. And you would never know that they were, they're owned by somebody, but they actually are. And conversely, there are a lot of things that, depending on the texting level of the people that you hang out with, that are normal emojis that you use that other people don't know. I've been in internet space long enough that there's a lot of acronyms that are just part of my vocabulary. And I don't really say them as words like, I've never actually, other than examples like this, ever actually said the word lol, as in LOL, as in laughing out loud, as in most people who LOL something probably are not laughing, especially not out loud. Even more so ROTFLMO, you're probably not rolling on the floor at all, and you're probably not laughing, and especially not to the point where your ass fell off. That's what ROTFLMAO stands for. But when I use ones like that, especially if I use RME, which stands for rolling my eyes, most people are like, why didn't you just use the emoji of the person rolling their eyes, right? Because back in the days when we didn't have emojis, we wanted to express things. And it's just that way. My point is, and I went a little longer in that explanation than I needed to, but I want you to really capture it because it doesn't diminish your brilliance because people don't know you. What it does is it points out that you have either a group of people that really do know you, and that's great. And now we need to talk about how can you be known in other ponds, in other places, in other communities. Or you're just completely invisible and you don't really have a community of your own at all that anybody knows. Hey, Jessica, glad to have you here with us. Appreciate you. It's a very dangerous myth in business. It's funny, they made back in the, whatever it was, 1990s, whatever, they made the movie Field of Dreams, if you build it, we will come. And a lot of people have, especially in social media, that kind of attitude towards their social media. If I build this amazing thing, everybody will flock to it. And it couldn't be further from the truth. You'd be better off, honestly, to go to a pen and paper kind of a situation, and one at a time make very specific contact through social media in conversations in somebody else's group. So you don't even have your own group. You have your personal profile and you're in somebody else's group and you're a genuine contributing member of that group. And when you begin to then strike up conversations, which if you're adding value to that group and it's a legit, active group, you will begin to start getting feedback from other people. And that will eventually lead to DMs. And in those then DMs is the place where, you'll start having that conversation. But you could literally, beyond that, you could, like I said, go to literal pen and paper, write down, this is the person's name, this is their Facebook stuff, this is what we've been talking about so far, this is their needs. So that then the next time, and then when it comes to actually having a conversation, I'm going to sound really old here. I apologize. I am 59. You could literally just pick up the phone and have a phone conversation with them when it's time to really talk. You could actually, if they're in your local community, you could actually meet and have coffee together and just talk face to face. No social media, no technology needed whatsoever. And the truth of the matter is, when you're making those kind of connections, yes, it's more work, but yeah, they're also more real. Those are the people that are going to really, truly know, like, and trust you. Because that myth of if it's good, everybody's going to see it. If it's good, it's going to go viral. That myth of virality is the one that really is killing so many businesses right now. Because we want to look at over here in the left-hand corner while I'm live, it's giving a counter of how many people that are watching live right now. And we want to somehow base our worth and our value based on what that number says, whether it's legit, whether it's real. We can go back and look on, on our Facebook, or we can look on, on the analytics from Facebook or LinkedIn, or we can go to YouTube and see how many people have liked and commented on that, how many viewers we got. And we can tie our whole entire ego up into what those numbers say. I want you to think of this number. Number one, what if you only impacted one person today? What if you only impacted one person this entire month? That would be more than enough. That would give you the capability to be able to truly reach that person and really, truly make a difference in their life. How do you then scale that to a sustainable, pay your bills, have employees kind of model? Well, we can talk about those kind of things. But first, you've got to be seen. Your being seen is going to break down to, and I talk about it all the time, your 3 C's. Clarity. Have a clear message. Exactly. This is what we're all about. Consistency. Doing it regularly enough that people know they can rely on it and they know exactly who you are, when you're going to be around. Okay. By now, somewhere in the noon hour Central Time, Steve's going to go live. Sometimes, like next week when I'm traveling, it's going to be maybe even 15 or 30 seconds. You may also get some more social media posts of me taking pictures when I go through the Colorado mountains and stuff like that. And I absolutely, next week at the event, want to share with you some of that. And I'm probably even going to get somebody in the crowd to not show all of it. I've got the whole recording and I'll have that get broken up into little shorts and stuff for you. But I want somebody, in the crowd to just take my phone and live stream, right there in that moment. It's kind of cool. I hadn't planned it, but the way the schedule looks right now, I'm going to be going live at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, which is, guess what, noon Central Time. And like I said, I won't have the person play the whole thing live, but I want you to be able to see, at least maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes of it, 15 at the most. And I'll just, go in. We'll have it all set up and ready or whatever. Haven't worked out the mechanics on it. And maybe, the technical end of things won't work. And maybe what'll have to happen is, just before I hand my phone to somebody, I'll stand in front of a mirror as I'm fixing my hair and go, "Hey, everybody, really excited, getting ready to go on stage." It could be that simple. Consistency, though, with the whole reason of our third C wanting to connect with you. I want to be here for you. Because when you repeat consistently the same clear message to people, the impact of that, the effect of it compounds. The numbers that I see now on YouTube of how many people are seeing me for a moment or the whole time, whatever, on YouTube. Any of the other analytics, will do the same, but YouTube's the easiest one to look and see. It's exponentially higher than what it was. It's not like it's blowing up and it's viral and it's like, and now millions of people are watching. And I may be too boring for millions of people to watch. I don't know. It's okay. But it compounds and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And the people that that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars with the launch, it's because they spent the last 10, 15 years compounding, building that connection with real human beings. I want you to be next. Drop the word compound if you're ready to find out how you can build real momentum in what you're doing. I'd love to talk to you. You can also drop your book down below, the link to it if you want to. And I'm glad to give you a free review of your book and, what's working with it, what isn't, and what you could do to change it and why. I'm here to help. I really, really want to see you succeed because momentum isn't magic. It's something that's built. It's a system that's nurtured through consistency every single day. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to be back again tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. If you have anything I can help you with, feel free to drop a message. And until we're together again next time, I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved, and that you have a great week.